What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. In the last episode, we took on this very simple tech contract where we met Alma, the scrapper, who kind of has a weird little mysterious backstory with her ramshackle ship. We're done with this contract, though. We got some scrap out of it. And now we're going to probably head out and go to another location. So here we go. Okay, double sixes, real good. Okay, so we're back here. I'm gonna have to buy fuel. So I think what the move is to use our rolls for just this cycle and then head immediately out. So actually the next place to go would actually be Helion Gate. Oh, sorry, home. Where did they say that was good for? Helion Gate. I don't know. We want to go to Holmes Rock right now. So Holmes Rock is our next space. It takes 7 fuel to get there, though, so I'm going to need another 5. And I should probably just top up in the meantime. So, actually, let's just do that first. So we're filled on fuel, pretty good on supplies. And now let's use the rest of our rolls to work. Yeah, right, because I'm not going to be able to do anything else with our rolls. There's no dangerous ones. I'm actually looking, oddly, I'm looking for dangerous rolls now because I have the 6s. And those are great. Okay, so let's do 6 on this one. No, oh, and I got scrap out of it. Great. Excellent. And now let's do this one. Dude, I'm killing it. And we're gonna be able to sell all of this. Oh, that was bang on excellent. Okay. And now I wonder, can I just... Is there even worth it to use the glitch one? I don't think so. Okay, so we're good there. We're good here. I think we just have to... Let's keep moving. Let's go to Holmes Rock, and then we go up to Wellspring, and then we are... it scares me that there's maybe more room to go here, but I think let's do the normal thing. Let's go 1, 2... Right, it doesn't make sense to do that. Export Wellspring. Yeah, we have to go to Wellspring for Seraphim. So let's do that. Let's go to Holmes Rock first, and then we can always make more money to get fuel. It's not killing us to do that. Sleeper. Bliss speaks quietly from the door at the back of the cockpit. Can we talk? Let's get rid of this. You glance over at Seraphim, his head back and eyes closed while the rig cuts through the empty space. You don't seem to be needed here. You unclip from your harness and follow Bliss. How are you doing? Bliss glances over their shoulder as they drift towards the back of the ship. The question takes you aback. You can't actually remember the last time anyone had actually asked, with real intention, how you are. Better than I was. Bliss shoots you a look. That's a good way of thinking about it, I guess. But to be honest, Sleeper, I'm not sure how you are still standing. Breaking out of Darkside, then again in Hexport, those things take a toll. Bliss turns to a corner. It's okay to give yourself space to feel that. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into the workshop they set up while they repaired the ship. It's small, but its neatly arranged tools and sloped walls help it feel cozy and tucked away. You see improvements everywhere, new tools and equipment. Bliss notices you looking at their upgraded setup. I told you it'd be worth taking along. Never doubted it. Bliss raises an eyebrow. Well, that's a lie. They smile. Feels good to hear, though. Anyway, I didn't bring you here just to brag. They pause, or at least not just to brag. They suddenly glance away, the atmosphere in the room shifting. I could see your body showing the strain, Sleeper. I brought you here so that we could do something about that. They beckon you towards the workbench, where you both settle onto stools. They flick on a small light and aim it at your arm. Let them look. Bliss gently cradles your arm, turning it to inspect the underside. You see tears and holes in the vinyl skin and dark moving things beneath. Look away, or watch Bliss work. Let's watch Bliss work. You look as Bliss brings the light closer to the biggest tear and glints off the metallic tendons in your forearm. Below them, you see something more fluid and wet catching the light. You know, you aren't the first sleeper I've met. Bliss talks while they inspect the rest of your arm. I actually partnered with one at my old repair bay on the eye. Was Bliss a character in the first game? I can't remember. It's been so long since I played that game. Is Bliss a returning character? I don't remember. Oh no, I don't remember. But it feels like 100,000 cycles ago now, but I remember them. Their precise work, their quiet enthusiasm. There was something calming about their presence. Bliss swaps to your other arm. They were different to you. Just like one person is different to another, I suppose, but I can't help but remember that time. I was a different person then, that's for sure. They meet your eye. I'm going through something of a transformation myself. What do you mean? Bliss lays both your arms down and leads forward to inspect your upper chest, adjusting the light. I was pretending before, I think, to be the person I was expected to be. They press it hard along the hard protrusion of your clavicle. There were so many calculations I was making, so many corrections. How I held myself, how I spoke, how I reacted. They push gently against each of your metallic ribs, one at a time. I didn't realize how tired I was until they stop and sit back, until I give up. I came here to the belt with someone else, and when I did, I realized this was my chance to become something new. So I let go of everything. They look away. It was messy, ugly, and the person I came here with, I let them go too. I was punching out at everything because it felt like everything was holding me back, stopping me for the change I was owed. Don't worry, they smile weakly. I'm calmer now. I'm not about to explode on you or anything. It's still a difficult process, but it feels like shedding 100 suffocating skins that you spent half your life putting on one by one. They meet your eye. It feels like an escape. They lean forwards again and check the skin of your shoulders where it is worn and faded. You let them. The atmosphere quiet but calm in the workshop. A feeling of solidarity glowing somewhere in your frame. Not bad, Sleeper. You're holding up well given everything. Bliss folds their arms in front of them protectively. But I'm still concerned. There's some decline to your system functions. Let's keep an eye out for components. Thank you, Bliss. It's no problem. They release from the stool and drift over to a rack of tools. I owe you for jolting me out of whatever my life had become on the far spindle. You leave Bliss to their workshop, feeling reassured that you have them here on the ship. As you do, you think of your relationship to your own body, this frame that you were forced into that has never quite felt like your own. You realize that this feeling is not unique to you. No one gets to choose their body. Everyone has to contend with their entropy of their flesh. The entropy of their flesh, I like that. And in that realization, you suddenly feel less alone. See, this is... Oh my god, look at those rolls! Look at the 666s! Holy shit! This is the type of game that makes me almost sad that people who don't play games don't play games. Because it's like, this is just peak fiction. like the way that this is written, like, you're not getting that. I mean, I guess you could technically try to write this into a book, but it loses the whole purpose, right? The fact that you have even the little choice that you do, it goes so long to enhance the medium. Yeah. Lumpen and cratered, Holmes Rock floats on the sunward side of the belt. Its only notable feature, the bright shapes of its solar arrays, angled towards the system's distant star. Can't even dock the rig here. Seraphin nods at the bright shape of Holmes Rock's lone docking bay. Won't fit. We'll have to park here and go out the airlock. He seems quite repulsed by the idea. We do that every contract. You do that every contract. Seraphin leans back into his seat. I've gotten used to sitting them out. Barely seems worth the trip down, Bliss speaks up from the back of the cockpit. You never know. I guess, Bliss yawns, but don't expect to turn up any jobs all the way out here. I'll come down later. Don't feel like squeezing into a suit right now. Bliss gives a lazy wave as they glide out of the cockpit. Yu-Jin pokes his head into the cockpit. That rock down there got a bar? He looks between you and Seraphin. No idea, Seraphin sighs, looks dead. Yu-Jin squints out of the cockpit windows. I see a few warm lights. He shrugs. I bet there's a bar. He disappears in the direction of the airlock. You gaze out over Holmes Rock. It certainly doesn't look very exciting, but there's refueling to be done and maybe more besides. You might even be able to scare up a hot meal. You know, Sleeper, that Lodic freighter means we aren't far from Wellspring. Seraphin gives you a sideways glance. Your sister, I haven't forgotten. All right then, Seraphim smiles. Appreciate it. I heard the pressure of the war and the inner system is having an effect on how the Lodic Syndicate is being run. Just want to get there before something big goes down. He turns back to his console. You look out at the Lodic freighter, painted the same distinctive yellow as the springtide back on the far spindle. You've heard they supply most of the water in the belt, not exactly an organization you want to collapse. A light catches your eye beyond the rock, a warm flash that it's gone as soon as it appears. You're at the sunward edge here, and beyond is the inner system. Holmes Rock may look sleepy, but it lies on the shores of a corporate war, something residents will be painfully aware of. All right. We got one option. Let's do it. Well, actually, what is it called? It's the Holmes Terminus. Barter with locals. Thanks to its remote nature, bartering is a popular pastime on Holmes Rock. You can learn pretty much through trade and talk. And then, once an old Solheim signal station, now a sleepy settlement, there's a whole labyrinth of dark tunnels cut into Holmes Rock. So obviously, we're gonna run engage on this one. Cool. Oh, we got some supplies out of it? Wonderful. Maybe we do try one of them here. It's a 6, so I feel decently okay with that. Yeah, this is gonna be get us the actual numbers here. Okay. We'll take that. I almost kind of want to try the glitched one here. Okay, we lost a little bit of money, but that's okay. You get caught up in an impromptu auction and end up losing money without really understanding why. You notice the tunnels are used by the locals as shortcuts around the rock. Useful. All right, we got some loot. Ooh, we got a lot of new locations. Hello. So yeah, we just have to kind of explore a little bit, and then it starts unlocking, it seems, all the stuff that we need. So fuel, we'll get our new fuel. Help offload freight. This massive Lodic freighter has a lot of cargo to unload and a small crew to do it. They've asked around for help, but the locals seem wary of the syndicate, so we really shouldn't do this one because it's so not what we do. The solar arrays of Holmes Rock keep the settlement viable, but their systems are old, and the residents will have to pay an outsider will pay to have an outsider inspect them. Okay, we could do that for sure. We can fix them as well, and then sell raw scrap. There we go. The Suncatchers need a constant supply of scrap for repairs and construction. Holmes Rock saves most of its income for this. Let's see, what do they pay? Ooh, okay. Let's give them up to, so I have 5 left. I feel good about that. Okay. And then, what is my team? They're still scavenging cryo, right? Technically, it would be helpful for them to scavenge, like, fuel, because that's what we're really needing right now. Let's see if they can do that. Alright, this is the end of this day, though. Oh, let's go check out the food. So, we could buy supplies here, but we could also sell engine components. It's not the best use of these valuable items, but 35 cryo is a pittance. But Senna will broker a sale to passing crew in need of repair. So, I'm not going to do that. Senna's Rest is set up in the old Solheim canteen of the signal station. They serve a hearty broth with softened grains. So we could buy food here too. Yeah, it seems like everywhere has to be able to give us the option to buy food, work, buy supplies and fuel, because otherwise the game would just stall completely. Okay, great. So that's the end of this day. I feel like we're not going to spend that much time here. Maybe 1 or 2 more days, depending on... They alluded to the fact that we might not have a contract here. All right, decent. We did get a fuel out of that, actually. By changing it, we did get fuel, so I'm going to keep it on that for sure. Let's see if I can just... Let's use our 6 here and get our double. Nice. Holmes Rock is starting to make sense, from its well-lit terminal to the tunnels that stretch beneath. In Holmes Rock, it's impossible to get away from the feeling of living, working, and eating in a ruin. Most of the belt is built on top of the remains of Solheim's infrastructure, but there are plenty of spaces where the modifications or extensions to those structures eclipse the original foundation. In Holmes Rock, it is the reverse. The station is a small, warm patch at the center of a network of tunnels and bays that stretch within the rock, most of them dark, damp, and wrecked, a sprawling foundation that will never be built upon. Every so often, gliding on your way between Senna's Rest and the Suncatchers, or from the docks to the depot, you find yourself in one of these dark tunnels. That's where you are now. You float, stopped at a four-way intersection, no light visible down any tunnel. Jesus. Go right. You glide right into a narrow passage with pipes running along its walls. One of them rumbles with a soft current. What could be flowing here? You arrive at another crossroads, but one of the tunnels has collapsed and is blocked with dust and rock. Let's go right again. You kick gently off from the wall and head into a cylindrical passage clad with panels that hold back the rock. It's wider than the others, and here and there, little drops of water float undisturbed. At the far end, you see a faint point of light, the warm glow of a lit passage. Suddenly, you hear a rustling in the dark and a shrill sound that you can't place. There's something out there. Rush through. Okay. You kick off hard and glide through the tunnel, feeling a few droplets of water gently spatter on your skin. You shake off the fear as you move. The dark doesn't scare you. Then it hits you, something solid and meaty slamming into your stomach and spitting away. You press off the wall and push on as a shrill wail echoes behind you in the dark. What the hell was that? When you reach the lit passage beyond, you turn back, but the tunnel is silent and still. You continue on, but you can't shake the feeling of being followed as you ascend back up through the station. Perhaps next time you'll take a different route. Ooh. Sealed Bay, abandoned Solheim facility. This Solheim Bay is sealed, but with enough data you might be able to crack the encryption and get inside. Oh, whoa, okay. Is there anything else to do here, though, other than work? I think this is like a late game comeback once we have data. That's what it feels like. I also feel like there's not much else to do with raw scrap, right? Should we just get rid of all of it? Let's see what happens if I work. How much money do I get out of this? Oh, shit. $6? Let's try another one. Damn, I'm really getting fucked by this. I'm worried about selling all the scrap, even though it says this is like its best place. It's alluding to the idea that this is like the best place to sell all the scrap. Maybe do just a couple more. Yeah, why not? Let's just sell it all, because I think this is the move. If scrap is needed elsewhere, we will be able to get it elsewhere. I think it's just best to get as much money as we can, because like we're gonna need it. Okay, so we're almost out of this. Let's fill ourselves up on fuel, and then we don't have any other thing to do here, so it's just going. We just go to our next spot, which is Wellspring, which takes 6 fuel to get. I think we're at the end of an episode, too. No, we could travel. Let's travel to Wellspring and see what it's about. I feel pretty good. We're stocked up. We have enough money. Oh, and we should eat. Cool. You suck the broth through a straw, the soaked grains giving a chewy texture to the fragrant soup. Alright, cool. Now I'm good to go. Okay, to Wellspring. The water extraction facility. Onward. Seraphin! The shout echoes through the ship, reaching you in the cockpit. You see the angle of Seraphin's head change, but he does not respond otherwise. Stay out of it. You stay silent. This doesn't concern you. Seraphin! You recognize the voice now. It's Bliss. Well, I mean, it could have been only one of 2 people. Moments later, they come into the cockpit. Is no one listening? They look between the 2 of you. I guess that means one of you is guilty. Bliss shakes their head. Come on, you need to see this. You follow the irritated Bliss through the ship, down into the cramped storage units tucked between the main ship and the hull. As you enter, you're greeted by total chaos. Amber globs of liquid ration float into the air and cling to the walls, while chunks of dried food spin slowly, breaking into crumbs. See? Bliss fumes. Someone opened up one of the supply crates and left it like this. They point to a crate in the storage netting with the lid pushed open. Oh, I see. Look, one of our supplies is gone. You look at the mess spilling out from the crate. Who could have done this? Inspect the remains. Okay. I think we've gotten a neutral outcome every single time we've rolled one of those things. You take a moment to pick through the food. You find a torn open pouch of liquid rations. You turn it in the light and see a set of evenly spaced gashes at the side. Looking at the chaos, it's hard to imagine a person doing this, especially one of your crew. Uh-oh, is it an animal stowaway? Bliss puffs out their cheeks. I need a break from this ship. They'll look at you. Help me tidy this up. You spend the rest of the journey packing the crate away and disposing of the spoiled supplies, but as you do, you can't help but wonder what actually happened here. When you're finished, you take one last look around the storage bay. As you gaze around the now cleared space, you have the same feeling of being observed by unseen eyes as you felt in the tunnels of Holmes Rock. Oh. What weird alien creature is with us? Ooh, another good set of rolls here. As he brings the ship into Wellspring's docking ring, you notice a rare tension in Seraphin's piloting. He jerks the stick a little too hard while the docking bridge extends, and a proximity alarm goes off. He curses under his breath. Relax, it'll be okay. I've docked this ship 100 times, Sleeper. He keeps his eyes on the monitors. I am relaxed. That's not what I mean. Seraphin doesn't respond, but you see him grip the rig's controls a little tighter. As the ship stops, the docking bridge connected, you lean forward and look out the cockpit windows, trying to get a good view of the icy surface of Wellspring below. The harsh, gleaming ice gives way to the steep sides of the cut, the asteroid's one city. It glows and steams with warmth, and peering down into it, you cannot see the bottom. Beyond, along the horizon, you see the terraces of the pithead, where the current extraction effort must be taking place. Seraphin runs the shutdown sequence and unclips from his seat. He turns back to you, a flinty look in his eye. I'm going to head down into the cut. I've got a few leads to follow up on. You get the sense he isn't asking for permission. Let me help. You can check out the city if you want, but I'm not following along, Sleeper. This is my trail to follow. Before you can respond, he pushes past and glides out of the cockpit. You turn and watch as he pushes past Bliss in the doorway. I missed something? Bliss shoots you a look. He seems even more irritable than usual. It's his business. Fair enough, Bliss sighs. Looks like a stopover at Wellspring for a bit, then. They zip their jacket. I'll be in the markets. At least Lane's unlikely to come out here to pick a fight with the Lodic Syndicate. Bliss shrugs. They turn and head towards the airlock, whistling softly as they do. Eugene comes out of a side door as Bliss passes. He stretches and squints at you. Permission to find a bar down there? Dude's always trying to get a good drink in. He grins. Just joking. I know I don't need to ask. He winks and follows Bliss. Wellspring, the base of the Lodic Syndicate. As you look out across its icy surface, you remember Malik, the captain whose ship you saved, and for whom you surveyed the ice asteroid. You also remember how he promised to repay you for your actions should you ever cross paths again. Perhaps Wellspring is a good place for you to make that happen. After all, if Seraphin's sister is here, surely the Lodic Syndicate would be best placed to find her. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. Ooh, look at this. Whoa. It's a whole ass planet. Look, I mean, it's an asteroid, but look at the planet. It's so cool. Okay, cool. So Wellspring Cut, and we have the Wellspring Pithead. We have a little bit more time, so I'm gonna just explore it. Let's see. Hack Lodic comms. Sure, you can wander, but the Lodic Syndicate runs this place. Surely you can learn everything you need to know by tuning into their chatter. The cut is filled with Lodic workers, which makes for a brash and bold atmosphere. You'll need to be the same if you want to explore. Dirty, wet, and thriving, the cut is a layered industrial city that is as intimidating as its inhabitants. And then what do we got up here? Ooh, with a Lodic pass, like any of the workers or syndicate members carry, you should be able to gain access. Got it. Okay. Oh, and we lost another thing of supplies. Is that just because we traveled? Maybe that's just because we traveled. All right. Well, we're gonna start here. Nice, real nice, and we got a location out of it. Maybe we take a look at that location actually. this going to be food? Food. The Cutwater shift. The Cutwater is a boisterous workers' bar filled with miners fresh from their pithead. From the pithead. They always need staff to fill in for those on shift. That's a dangerous one. I've never seen a dangerous work one. Okay. Let's go for another one. Oh, right. Wait, punches it up. You have a good sense of which passages to wander and which to avoid in the steaming vertical city. Amazing to think that this place supplies most of the belt's water. Bliss looks around across the Cutwater at the workers in their distinctive yellow gear. No wonder the syndicate runs it like a corporation. You look at those gathered in the low-ceilinged bar, gathered around cushioned couches and low magnetic tables, their voices bouncing off the metal walls. All of them wear loaded clothing, a mark of their status as contractors for the belt's most powerful syndicate. At the far side of the bar, you spot Eugene, perched at a magnetic table with a bunch of miners. He appears to be playing some kind of local dice game, although given the amount of alcohol involved, it's hard to tell if gambling or drinking is the focus. I'm just going to pause for a second because I love that technically it's a choice that we have him here, right? Like, we could have told him to fuck off, and there's other characters that we kind of like dropped the ball-ish on that one person who we had in the early game. I even forget what their name was, but the girl who was like trying to get this, who did the contract with us to get the truth. Those are characters we probably could have had, and we just don't have now. Now, I don't know. Again, without playing the game a second time, I'm actually unsure if the entire first half of the game before the far spindle, like, does it matter? Other than like our personal stats, like, does it matter character-wise? Is everything going to get reset for when far spindle? I have no idea. It would have to be a replay for me to figure that out. But I love the idea that all these characters are interacting with each other and they're close and they are a real crew. Like, that is something that we missed a little bit in the original game, feeling like there's a community, because the whole first game is very isolating. That's kind of the whole point. It's just something that I really admire about how this is written and woven into itself. Really cool. Yeah. You look back to Bliss, who's watching another group quietly discussing something serious in the opposite corner. Lodic gets the job done. Bliss turns back to the bar, who sips their drink through its metal straw. Well, that's the thing. I've been looking around Chasm Row, searching out components in the markets. Down there, people don't seem so happy. Bliss meets your eye. There's been a lot of talk of contracts. It seems Lodic's been locking down its workers, giving the war in the inner system as an excuse. They play with their metal straw, swirling the orbs of liquid in their sealed glass. The pressure is building, Sleeper. We shouldn't hang around here much longer. They sigh. We need to give Seraphim time. Well, Bliss raises an eyebrow. It sounds like I'm not the only outsider who's been hanging out in Chasm Row. I heard someone complaining about a rude young man asking too many questions. Bliss smiles. Who else could that be? They laugh. That's the place to start if you want to find our boy. They said he was asking about the Rhyme Market, but I have no idea what that is. Bliss looks out across the bar. Definitely a touchy subject for locals, though. I'll head there now. Bliss nods. I'll finish my drink. They smile. Let me know how it goes. You leave the Cutwater, shouldering your way through a crowd of boisterous contractors. There's a conspiratorial mood to the conversations now that Bliss has mentioned it, and now you wonder what all the talk is about. You hear a bellowing laugh from Eugene as you slip out the door. Better leave him to it. You feel the sudden cold as you leave the steaming bar and enter one of the icy passages cut into the asteroid itself. All this water in the hands of a single syndicate. If something goes wrong here, the belt will die of thirst long before the war reaches it. You turn up the collar of your jacket against the cold and head for Chasm Row. Cool. Okay, and then we have the Lodic Depot, which, yep, I'm sure. Fuel. Is it cheaper? Oh, it is. Look, the Lodic Syndicate manufactures its own fuel from Wellsprings Water, so it's a little cheaper than elsewhere. Well, it's also cheaper because it has to be, because it's the only... Seraphim is not ready to leave the current location. You cannot travel until he is. Interesting. But I don't know what the price of fuel to get to the next location is going to be, but it's got to be, because this is the one all the way up. We have to be able to travel far to get out of here. So I don't have a Lodic pass still. Okay, cool. I think I'm going to call it here. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it here. We will investigate with Seraphim in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe. The adventure is moving at a breakneck pace now, which I'm really enjoying. So I don't know how much longer this game actually has in it, but we're certainly going to find out. Yeah, so keep on with it. Keep it locked on the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.